Hey everyone, welcome back. In previous couple videos, we talked about how to leverage the power of Claude Code to build a full stack web application with the local database, with front end, back end, Copilot, all that fun stuff. So in this video, we're gonna dive a little bit deeper. So with all that being said, let me share my screen. Let me show you what the app that we have right now. So we have a login, we have little database, authenticated user. And here you can type in whatever you want. Here you can say this and hit enter. But I'm not going to do that. I am going to open the Copilot because that's what we did last time. And then I'm going to say, show me Apple stock, right? Just say that. It will boom, typing, boom, enter the button, boom, done. Here's the dashboard, right? So let me try again. Now show me Google stock, right? Watch the screen. Type in boom Google, hit the button search, boom, done. That's the data. So that's the app we have been building. We built all of that. Now you see the app, right? Now let me show you the um, system architect. The system architect is here in the VS Code in the Markdown file. So from the browser, we have local port range 3001. That's going to hit the front end. The front end is a container. It's built using React, and then it has Copilot Kit control the UI. So here, the control UI portion is done by Copilot Kit, which lives in a different container, and they are communicating via Copilot proxy, which is the API call in between these two containers. If I need to bring data out of the Yahoo Finance, because let's say you're downloading some stock data from Yahoo Finance, right? You need a backend. A backend, you can think about it as a fast API. Fast API is native to Python. You can build using Python. Lots of people know Python, right? You can then put all that functionality in the backend. Of course, the simplest one, user authentication, right? I have to register, I have to log in using my password, right? All that fun stuff. That's also in the backend, right? So backend can have a lot of APIs. I designed this way because I want this front end container to be the train station. I want the front end container to be the train station. I want that front end container to be where the party is happening, right? Everybody can go their own direction, right? They can do their thing, they can bring the data back, but end of the day, right? End of the day, everybody meets at this train station, and the train station is where the party happens. So I use that analogy because I want people to know that this front end, which is what user will see, is still going to be the selling point. It's still going to be the punchline. We're not deviating from that. We don't want to distract people from that. We don't want to build chatbot first chatbot. We want to build product first chatbot. So that's the landscape. Now, with all that being said, why are we here? We are here today because I want to give this copilot a bit more information, right? I want this copilot to know more and not just know like something random. I wanted to know what the user is looking at. So let's come here. For example, let me give you a question, right? I'm gonna guess this question. The Copilot does not know that. Um, I'm seeing financial analysis to be 75 of 100. Uh, what does this mean for this company? Um, yeah, so I'm asking a piece of information here. Hey, it's interesting that you saw that. I'm actually assuming that it does not know that. So what if I ask a more generic question? What information or metrics do you see on the page? It's a more generic question. I want to test that if it sees something. It sees Google, that sees the data points, sees 75 out of 100. Can you tell me other information? Okay, so, for example, this will help me understand what's on the page. So this is interesting. It says based on the context I have access to, I can see this. I don't know if you can see all of it. So that's interesting, right? It sees something. I need to verify that it sees all of it, right? So here's what I'm going to do. I am going to say something like this. Um, Now, I tested that the Copilot is up and running. It works successfully. Here's what I'm going to do. I am going to conduct this investigation from the perspective of user experience. In other words, I don't have a plan. I don't know how to code. I'm not a coder. I'm pretending not to be a coder. I don't have a plan. All I have is user experience, right? So I'm going a little bit opposite of the direction. Typically, when people code, they're like, "Oh yeah, I want to build an app." Okay, got it. Da, 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 da. They're gonna go build an app, right? How is that gonna affect user experience? That was never discussed, right? So let's take a little bit of a different direction here. Let's start with user experience, right? So I tested the app, blah blah blah. It's running, blah blah blah. Fine. Um, Here's my experience as a user. I can talk to Copilot and bring up the data of a stock. And then I asked, literally just copy the questionnaire. What information or metrics do you see on the page? And the answer I got back is the following. Again, just paste it here. Right, take all this, put it here, right? In the Claude Code. Here's my question. Does Copilot see all the data presented on the UI? Now, let's not just stop there, right? Let's really be technical here. Be aware, you are still an engineer. Your engineer has taken on other roles, the roles of user, roles of PM, roles of UI, UX, but at the end of the day, you're still an engineer, right? We're still building an app here, right? That's still what we're doing. But you're building the app based on different purpose, right? Not just something random that you made up, okay? So does the Copilot see all the data? Okay, let's be a little bit critical, right? Let's come back to the diagram. What is on the diagram? The diagram says the front end is a party house, right? People can then do something and then bring some data back. So in other words, I can, if there's a Yahoo Finance stock, if it's a stock chart here, that means there's an API call to call Yahoo Finance in the backend, bring the data back from the backend, and then be presented on the front end, right? There's action go there and then come back. So that is where the action happens. I need to communicate that, right? Because that's where the data come from. If you don't communicate that, the Claude Code does not know what to do with the Copilot. Okay. So let's really make sure we communicate that. So I know that the front end has a search button. Copilot will trigger it. Then the search button will make API call using backend services. I get that. But I want you to investigate if the data received from the backend that is displayed on the current UI, can Copilot receive this data? Um, so data here refers to stock data. I'm just gonna list a couple of keywords. This is company description, company profile, and then AI financial analysis, AI financial analysis, valuation metrics, and all of that. Let me make sure I have this thing down here as well, analyst consensus. And analyst consensus and all of that. If yes, that's great. If not, then I want you to come up with a plan to implement this. And let me make sure we have a goal, right? Goal. The goal here is to allow user to continue the conversation in the Copilot chat session about the data that is currently present on the page. So I want Copilot to know what user sees without having user to copy and paste into the Copilot. Okay, now with all that said, you guys get the idea, right? Technically speaking, you can probably just stop the video from here because you already get the idea, right? Because the idea is already listed here, right? Where do we start? We start with user experience. User experience is me as a user, I'm left unconvinced. I'm left um, with doubt that this answer has a full picture of what I'm seeing on the page. That's the research question. I don't know that. I'm unconvinced that's the case, right? Why? Because it asked me to put the information here. That's how I know, right? Well, that's annoying. That's gonna hurt user experience because me as a user, I have to look at this and then be like, oh, okay, 75. Okay, what is 75? Oh, price earnings ratio 29. Oh, what is 29? Users still have to do that two more steps to look up information, put it in the chatbot, so that chatbot can then answer what that information means, right? That's two more steps. The goal here is to minimize that, right? If user has a question about price earnings ratio that they see on the page, just ask. You should not have a user to then copy that information into the chatbot and then ask the chatbot, right? That's going to be two steps too slow. So I'm hoping what's going to happen here. Very simple design, actually. Today's large language model has like, you know, hundreds of thousands of tokens of context window. So these couple of paragraphs, it's not going to be too big of a problem, right? So even if you grab all of these stock price and all of these paragraphs and all of these, labels and put it in this chat session, it will still allow you to continue that conversation without any problem and with all the historical context, right? You know what I'm saying? So that is the punchline here. That is what I'm trying to convey in this video. So let's see if it's done correctly. Okay, so I think it changed a couple of code. We can revalue that later. Rebuild the front end, deploy it, commit changes to GitHub. Okay. Let's go ahead and do all of that. I'm gonna guess in the end, it's gonna give me a summary of what are the files that is changed, and that is the summary that I need. Okay, done. Here's what is changed, and what the Copilot can now see, right? It will see Google, for obvious reason. That's the reason. That's a ticker, right? It will see the data points, count, not the data. It will see this, the actual data. This is interesting. Account now data. I'm gonna have to verify that. Here, readable. Ticker, page, great. This is just the start. So OH LCV summary. So that's the summary, right? Like date, open price, closing price, high of the day, low of the day, volume, that sort of thing. Company profile. Okay, awesome. Refresh and then let's try again. So I actually don't know if this is gonna work or not. I'm gonna log out and let's log back in. ABC. Okay. Let's see if this is gonna get us end to end, right? Okay, now we're gonna uh, be living and breathing in this chat window, but the chat window can control everything on the user interface and can also see everything on the user interface. So let's see how that works. Okay. So what are we supposed to do? Okay, so let's start with ticker. Can you bring up Apple stock? Okay. So let's see. Boom, typing, boom, search, boom, done. Okay. So now user is gonna take a look at this, take a look at this, blah 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 blah. And then it's gonna ask a question. Let's say profit margin. I have no idea what that means. You know what? Let's pick this, the PB ratio, whatever that is, right? Let's say I don't understand what that is. What is PB ratio? Is 46 point. You know what? I'm not gonna say that. Is the number too low for Apple? Right? It's a question that require the Copilot to see the page. Right? It better see the page. If it doesn't see the page, then we did not achieve our goal, right? Because I don't want user to look up some information, copy paste into a chatbot, and then have the chatbot do something. I want chatbot to just answer me the question, right? That's the goal here. So PB ratio is whatever, that's the equation, blah, blah, blah. Okay, currently it's 46. That's exactly what that number is. Perfect, right? So you saw it. Is this too low? It's actually the opposite. It's actually extremely high, right? So here's the context. Normal range is 5 to 10. Uh, Apple's PB ratio is 46. So that's 5 to 10 times the sector average. Okay, so now this is the insights. According to the AI analysis, this gets a poor rating because it's too high. So this is the price per book value, right? If I recall correctly from my MBA program. Yeah, it's price per book. Okay. So the price per book is too high. That means it's too expensive. Right? It's traded at a high margin, or traded at high multiples. Um, so okay, so why is too high? Because of blah blah blah. Concern, right? Is there any chance it's a negative factor, right? It's a negative number. Investors are paying enormous premium for every dollar of a book value, right? That's what that means. Okay. Bottom line isn't too low. It's actually very high, reflecting that you're paying mainly for Apple's brand ecosystem, right? It's too expensive of a stock comparing with the industry sector's average. So that's what I'm talking about, right? Hopefully, this video can convey that message to you, right? Again, punchline. You want to build product first. What is your product? Is your product chatbot or is your product data? If your product is this special way of displaying the special data, which presumably that's what we're doing here, right? Then that needs to be the punchline. That needs to be the focus here. That still need to be the focus. That still need to be the emphasis. The Copilot assistant is just assistant. You want that to be staying on the side, right? Um, but when user find the user interface difficult to navigate, that's where Copilot comes in, right? This is a easy story to convey because this text box is just one text box is one button. If a user has to type in, probably not many people are going to complain. But if you imagine this user interface to have tons of different pages, every page has subpage, every page has a form, you have to fill in the form and do a bunch of other things. When that user interface gets so complicated, a user is going to lose patience. If user is going to have click on 20 pages to get to a solution, that's going to be when your Copilot comes in. That's a great opportunity. That makes extremely kosher for you to have Copilot, right? Because we're just doing step one here, which is you have to type a message. Step two is you put a voice feature in that you can talk to, right? That will make it very interesting. So that's the idea. Hopefully, convey the message. Hopefully, this show you guys again punchline. Build product first AI. Do not build AI first AI. Product first AI. Feature first AI. Because product is what your customer will pay, right? Make sure that you have that nailed down. Um, Especially, I think most of the audience is probably going to be my student. Most of my students are watching this video. If you haven't learned anything and you want to forget about everything else, totally fine. Please remember this, right? Please build product first solution. Do not build AI first solution, right? AI first solution is not a solution. Product first solution is still it's the product solution. You want to come back. You want to use AI to support your core product feature, core product functionality, right? So that's that. I just want to convey that message to you. This way, you feed the data into a chatbot, chatbot will see what the user sees, right? So chatbot is not distracted. Chatbot itself is also not a distraction. Users still look at the stock data. That is still the punchline. But if user has questions, he can then ask chatbot. But when you ask chatbot, it doesn't have to copy paste. You just ask the question, right? So that's the key here. Um, Hopefully, this is an interesting video for you guys. Hopefully, you guys get a kick out of it. I'm excited to see all the amazing projects that my students are building. And with all that said, thank you for watching, and I will see all of you guys in the next video.